Hi, I'm Norma Marvel, and this is my weekly reflection. This is week 4, and basically we're discussing the stuff that we read for this week. And one thing that struck me the most was the milestones in language development for children. The one thing that really struck me after reading was by the 3rd year, children can produce 500 words of productive vocabulary, which comes to a shock because during the summer I spent most of my time with 3-year-olds, and they had immaculate level of vocabulary skills and grammar, and they could pronounce and enunciate different stuff. So learning that it's just 500 words was very, very canning. Another thing that is part of this reading was when they were talking about the stages of development, because children go through stages of development when asking questions. So they just basically state something that they want, like cookie, like they're asking a question, but then, and that's like annotation, and then by stage 3 is the why questions. And why don't I have this? Or can I do this? Can I go there? This is mine. Is that mine? Asking different questions. And it's really shocking how these children go from different stages of language development within a short amount of time. Another thing was the theories of language development. So behaviorist learning theory was created by B.F. Skinner, and it's basically saying that they rely on someone else. So it's basically saying that children utter the words because the adults give them things that they want, and that behaviorists assume that child speech will be rewarded the more it sounds like adult speech. So basically what the behaviorist learning theory is stating, that if a child is pronouncing words that sound more like the words that we use, we reward the children. And I believe it's true, because I work in an infant toddler class, and my children are starting to develop words, and some of them aren't one yet. And one of my kids' favorite word is ball. So he always says ball, and he says ball when he wants you to throw it to him if they catch. He says ball when he goes to look for one, or when he's trying to find one, and then when he has it, or anything that's around he finds is ball. And the parents in the classroom that walks in, other teachers, and myself, we always respond, "Oh my goodness, that is so good." We clap for him, or when he asks for a ball, we'll give it to him. So he's being rewarded when he asks for something. And I guess he gets the hang of it, because when he first comes in the classroom, that's the first thing he says is ball. Or the new word is teddy, because he has a lovey, and he uses his lovey all the time. So that was something that really struck me, because I'm like, this is what we do in daily life. And then another theory that caught my eye was the social interaction theory. So the social interaction theory. So it is the approach that that children acquire language through close interaction with adults and older children, and that the structure of language arises out of the social communication and function of language. And a more adult-like form of speech will produce more sophisticated social life for the child. So inside my classroom, we don't use baby talk. I don't like baby talk, and we talk to our children, we read to our children. And one thing that I notice is my kids that have actual older siblings have developed a little bit more language set skills, or more adult sounding word versus the kids that are single children. So this was like a theory that made me connect to some of the stuff that goes on in my classroom, which is very important because the stuff that I'm reading, the stuff that I read this week connects back to the stuff that I've been doing inside of my classroom, and now I'm like, oh, that's what that's called. So I can actually explain it to the teachers inside my classroom and to the parents. And one more thing. Alright, so, and then you have the cognitive theory, which is the language is viewed as a general ability that emerges within context of other general cognitive abilities like memory, attention, and problem solving. Page and assume that language is not separated facility but of several cognitive abilities. And language is structured by constraint and the changes of cognition. Right, so they say that the children's first word combination depends on the perception of semantic relationship between people and objects in their environment, which I believe is kind of true because in my classroom, we hold some of the toys that we have in my classroom are similar to the toys that the kids have at home. And they're able to label them, and you know that they have they know the difference between the toys because they remember, or they'll come in the classroom and go straight to that same toy. And we have kids that say ball, or they ask for the star, which is part of the sorting game toy, which is shocking that they actually play with. So